Hello, friends. Welcome back to Magic with Melly here on a Melly Monday. Today it's saying approach anxiety with a new angle, all right? Because we have to start doing right by ourselves and grounding the situations that we want and stopping ourselves from worrying about the worst from happening. There's all sorts of energies here, high anxiety energies here, and then just a lot of enthusiastic energy, just wanting to do better, feel better, and not feel so sick or not feel like we're struggling in our space. So that's where I feel like some of us are right now, with the Justice card. It's this beginning towards doing right by us, and serving ourselves. We have the 10 of Pentacles, back of the deck energy. So just grounding. Grounding is really important here. I'm seeing the color red. I'm seeing a lot of red so far, with the red and the Queen of Pentacles, the red on the Justice card, and even the red on the 10 of Pentacles and the 10 of Pentacles card itself. Just lots of grounding and lots of pentacles. We only have pentacles cards out here with Justice. So there's a lot that we want with the Queen of Pentacles. There is a lot that we desire. It's a matter of choosing in an element that pushes us towards these desires, towards our fulfillments, towards what's right for us, right? And so the breakdown of this reading is going to be 2 tarot decks and some pre-shuffled oracle cards that I shuffled before the reading here today. And mind you that this is a collective reading, so not all the messages are going to apply. But if they do, I'm glad that I can read you so well, or that your situation, is able to be, put here and recognized. I'm glad that you feel recognized in this reading. If you do or do not, if you do, I'm of course, really happy about that. If you do not, maybe a different reading is for you. Sometimes we are not in specific need of spiritual guidance, and we're left to, try and figure things out on our own. Sometimes we do need, sometimes we do actually are open with spirit. Sometimes spirit, their connection with us, they distance with us so that we can figure out things on our own. And other times we are really close with them because we need their guidance. We need them closer in our, heart and mind space. And so with that being said, if this is your reading, keep going. If this is not your reading, you can click off and put a different reading on. But this reading is all about approaching anxiety in a different angle. And grounding. I think the reason why we have anxiety is perhaps because we're so future forward thinking, and we're worried about certain outcomes that come to arise in our mind space, and whether or not we want them to occur, it has not occurred yet. So that's what's instilling this anxiety feeling, like maybe an empty feeling, or even like a triggered or some sort of like sensitivity that you have in the current space, because what you are manifesting is very future forward and hasn't occurred yet, or it's not the situation that is applying in the current space, which that ultimately in the long space applies for anything in the future, right? We are not in the future, we're right now. So but it also applies, like, if you are pretending to be happy in a situation when you're not, then the placeholder will be anxiety, that middle place. And vice versa. Like, it's just anything where there's placement and it's not completely true in the current state. That's what I feel like anxiety is sort of just a beginning of trying to engulf describing anxiety, because everyone's symptoms and feelings of anxiety will differ. But just this reading's all about uniquely seeing your situation and reapplying yourself in a way that will be healing. So we have the Queen of Pentacles and the Seven of Pentacles. This card is absolutely just, I feel exhaustion, right? This individual is leaning on their like little shovel or hoe, and and that could be a message for you about leaning on a side piece or friends. That is okay, but it's exhausting, right? Maybe this person should go lay in bed and rest and come back to this work, because it looks like this person is overwhelmed by how much work there is to be done. And so, but that's also, that's just a context to be picked up here with the imagery that this person's just tired of what's been worked on so far, and we need maybe a new refreshing energy. That's a message for some of you that need that refreshing energy. This is your time to press go on trying a new hobby. Maybe I'm actually hearing that some of us are hobby hoarders instead of hobby doers, where you collect the supplies, you like looking at the supplies, but actually using supplies. That's another thing. I think it could be related to our level of belief in ourselves when it comes to, or even just satisfaction with ourselves when we have a product that we've created in a hobby, in an artistic standpoint. We get rather critical, and it could be overcritical. And I think that's what's going on here in the energy, is maybe criticism, maybe not only self-criticism but criticism from others, like this belief or disbelief of whether or not you can be successful, or whether or not you should do this or that thing, a new job, a new relationship, a new something, whatever you want to ground, whatever future that you are so concerned about, right? Because anxiety for me is a lot of placement in the future. Like, what if they feel this way, or what if they think this way, what if their reaction is this, is a place where it's not exact, it's like where it's happening concurrently in your mind space but not actually in the reality space. And so in your mind space you could be in the future, or you could be in an opposite energy, or you could just be worrying about something that hasn't occurred yet, or maybe will never occur. And so that's the thing with maybe toning it down with the thoughts, the thinking space, with rest. I think this is just some of more of this exhaustion and the criticism. And, if someone's penetrating you with that energy and they're feeding you those words, then you start feeding yourself those words. You have to be careful about that as well. The energy that is surrounding you, sometimes we soak that in, and we realize that, oh, the anxiety I'm feeling is not really my anxiety. It's because this person is dealing with these issues, and now I'm worrying about my situation. But my situation, there's nothing wrong with my situation. Or vice versa. You could be having a situation and your friends are not, and they have to kind of re self assess. Like, sometimes energy exchange is really messy, and you don't know why you feel some type of way until you realize it was, a self thing or a them thing. That could be a new way of applying yourselves accordingly with this anxiety. Is the anxiety even yours? Are you an empath taking in someone else's anxious feelings and self-doubt and limitations? it could be you like soaking that in, or it could be you experiencing these things and spreading the energy all around. So make sure you check yourself, okay? Because if you're spreading anxiety and then your friend starts feeling anxiety, then they have anxiety, and then them having anxiety gives you anxiety. And I know this is coming from someone who has anxiety. Like, I've been to a therapist and I've self-recognized anxiety, and my doctor then confirmed, that I have anxiety. And so, like, coming from someone who has anxiety, the past phrases just all sound very anxiety ridden, where I'm just saying anxiety over and over and over and over and over again. It's like your anxiety gives you anxiety, and someone else's anxiety also gives you anxiety, and then you're just like, oh, is everything going to be okay? And it's like, yes, everything will be okay. There's a calming element that needs to stand, or a timing element, perhaps, when this anxiety sort of occurs. Realize that perhaps clarity is what's missing as well. Sometimes we get all up in our headspace because we have a missing piece that we're trying to fill in. If you're mindful of like, that you're filling a missing piece in, figure out, is it because it's being intentionally hidden from me? Or is it just hidden from me because, like, that's just the natural causes, the situation hasn't granted the opportunity to talk about it yet? And then now that you realize that you need something more, maybe a conversation, maybe more information, maybe just something that you need, when you have that realization, you can address it and be like, all right, this is it. I need this will help soothe my anxiety. Not that it's any blame or cause or situation like Flora, that like was one thing led to the anxiety, but that you're doing a self-soothing thing where you are recognize, then address, then soothe, like figuring out like that in steps. Like, how can I recognize the problem, address the problem, fix, then soothe, like alleviate, feel better, right? That's like the whole fixing thing and doing better. And then, like, then you're not feeling anxiety or filling in with assumptions, because you know what happens when you assume? You make an ass out of you and me, right? Assume, ask, you and me. Okay, we get it. Okay, so it's like you don't want to assume things, you want to address things. So if you are like running around in your mind space, like having anxiety and overthinking and putting yourself into a space like that, check yourself, maybe journal, or maybe actually talk to the person that is in your thoughts about what your thoughts are like, and have them either validate or invalidate the situation for you. And it's gonna feel vulnerable as hell. But that's kind of like a trust thing and growing into that. Or even in the workspace, you may have like a specific situation that you need to address that would be doing you right. And it causes you anxiety to even have the conversation. It's like so many situations can be read here, but it's like doing right by you because you have anxiety for a reason, because something's not in alignment there. And you need to figure out why or what or how, and make the shifts accordingly in a way that's balancing or balanced for you, and that's going to change also according to how you're changing, and how your circumstances change. So just choose uniquely based off of what you can do, what you want, and that's like its own formula, and go from there. Well, let's kind of get some more out of this way of the Panda Tarot and see what's going on with the Melly Monday Collective, and get more messages on what we should be doing and how to kind of apply ourselves healthily when it comes to anxiety, and when it comes to just, chilling out and making our way in our journeys. I have the Seven of Wands reverse, Page of Wands reverse, and the Fool reverse. And back of the deck is Queen of Wands. So I'm seeing lots of, so earlier it was lots of Pentacles. Now this is Wands, but reverse. And we have another 7. And we have another Queen. So we welcome that. I welcome the Queens, but they're telling us some interesting things. I just want maybe some clarity on what's happening here with the 7 of Wands, with all these Wands reversed. Like, what? Tell me about, just clarify this, because this is actually some serious stuff. We need some clarification on the reading. And the back of the deck energy is the Moon. Okay, so we have 7 of Wands reversed, and clarified was the Hierophant. Page of Wands reversed, clarified by the 3 of Cups, and the Fool reversed, clarified by the King of Pentacles. Back of the decks, Queen of Wands reversed, the Moon reverse. All right, I'm really thinking that there's a Queen of Wands in the situation. It could be a mother figure. It could be a intimate figure. It could be just some sort of a third party, okay? And I mean that lightly. That could be whatever your intuition is telling you. It doesn't have to be a person. It could be a work situation. It could be an event. It's just like some sort of triangulation. A third person, object, event, place that is taking up energy. This Queen of Wands. It could be a hobby as well. It could be a baby. It could be something that's like anything that's taking up energy space. But it's hidden here. If it's a hobby, it could be just a hidden hobby. If it's a person, it could be someone who's been kept secret or juggled. If it's like a new aspiration or something that's like a goal or an idea or something that's attractive, it could be that it hasn't manifested yet. It's just still an idea that needs to grow, but it makes you happy. This reading is a unique thing, but the thing with it is anxiety is being caused here because of what's occurring in the night space, right? In the night space, when we're supposed to be sleeping or when we're supposed to be resting, or some of us, like, just whenever we're sleeping, some of us get hit with these dark thoughts, or even just sleepless nights, not being able to sleep at all, tossing and turning, having just thoughts going there in your mind space. Sometimes some of us can't turn your mind off, can't distract yourself enough. Like, some of these energies that happen in the nighttime, or as you're sleeping, or as you're like transitioning. Maybe we're transitioning from one setting to another setting, and it's just hard. It's hard. These feelings are hard. I understand this, right? And we have the 7 of Wands here reverse. This panda looks like a warrior, just like fight. Like, I'm hearing like fighting through the seasons. And we do have a summer coming up, and here in California we have fires. So that could be indicative for you about the time, or even just fires. Some of us could be pyros. Some of us could just be fire signs, any Sagittarius, Leo. I don't know why I forget the 3rd and 4th. Sagittarius, Leo. Moving forward, I'm not going to, it'll come to me like hella later. I'm not going to like waste a lot of time on a brain goof. but it's just this, like, you are so committed to fighting. This Hierophant card is just structure and commitment. Some of us are religious bound. Some of us are, or, you know, grew up religious, but maybe aren't so necessarily religious now. But I'm also reading this as some of us have a lot of those that look up to us for spiritual guidance or advice. Some of us in the collective are spiritual as well, but some of us are just the type that are sort of like really a fiery energy and feel like you need to dim it down at times when it comes to your your peers, your surroundings. You don't feel like completely safe expressing who we are. Some of us feel this way in the collective with our friends. Three of Cups is like this friendly community, you know, friends, going to community, celebrating. But with this Page of Wands in reverse over it, it's this uniquely fresh energy where it comes to, like, it's fearful of approaching others at times for some because of anxiety, because of fears of rejection, because of fears of how their response may be, because there's just this interesting energy. But there's also here, some of us are dealing with a person that isn't who they say they are or what they think, what you thought they were, like, and you're either figuring that out later down in the road, or you're figuring that out now, or something about what was really grounded and safe, you know, like a work situation or financial situation, that seems to be crumbling. Something about this King of Pentacles. It could be an individual or a work situation, but Pentacles, you know, groundedness, king, control, just like having control of your groundedness and stability. Something is coming undone with this, with the Fool in reverse here, and there's like resistance of, like, it's falling apart and you don't want it to fall apart, but it kind of needs to. Some things sort of just need to be let alone. um what, you know, and some people need to be just let alone, or, you know, and so just apply that how you think works, because whether or not you think things need to be let alone is subjective to you, you know, and whether or not you think this is for a person or a work situation, that's also subjective to you. I'm only interpreting here for a collective and trying to read as many people as possible, but you are, you know, ultimately responsible for how you apply yourself. And so with anything that's hidden, realize, what's the intention. Is it a natural intention? Was it an intention that was malicious? Like, why do you not know what you need to know? Is it because you need to ask and push like a button on, like, asking the questions, and addressing it directly? Like, maybe the person or situation doesn't even know that you have, like, these issues, right? Like that. So maybe the resolve is having that communication before you act upon feelings and your thoughts. Like, you are human, and you can also be wrong. And so sometimes it's like this external validation that we may need. Sometimes I'm also reading this Page of Wands reverse over the Three of Cups as, like, hesitancy to reach out for advice in certain circumstances, because it's embarrassing, especially if the people that you ask advice for or from know the other people who the advice is about. That is also embarrassing. And so don't be afraid of trying something new that will expose you to not only maybe a new hobby, but also a new set of friends where you can, you know, not talk shit about them, but just say, like, as objectively and as anonymously as possible, just be like, all right, if you were me and you were dealing with this, You know, like, how would you apply that? Like, how would you apply yourself? Because I'm wondering how to apply myself, you know. And then, like, sometimes you need to feed that person information, and then they can feed you new information, right? Like, you've never experienced something before, so your help is only limited to what you've experienced. But if you ask for help and say, oh, well, like, my car, or my house, or my fill in the blank is having trouble, I don't know what to do, then, and you're open to that, then you're leaving space for them to, for other people who know what to do, to show up to help you. Then maybe your anxiety will diminish because you have the resource, you have that missing piece, right? I was talking about earlier, missing pieces, and like kind of having to like fill yourself in and things. Maybe the community is how you need to do that, and it's like this returning to feeling safe and expressing what's going on and what you need in regards to that. But now that I've already gone through both tarot, let's get through the pre-shuffled oracle cards and get through the reading. So these should be maybe some lessons, or just more solidity, more strength in the types of affirmations and things we need to hear this Melly Monday. And so this card first says inspiration. Be prepared, as you'll soon receive a visit from the fairy of inspiration. Come dusk or dawn, she can call at any time. So inspiration's one of those things where it will just spark. It will just be one of those little things where it's an idea in your mind, and whether or not you take an action on it is up to you. I mean, you can have that spark of inspiration anytime. I should go do this. And some of us, we just say it and let saying it just be the only thing. And that's like that thing of like empty manifestations, where you say, I'm going to go there, or I want to go there. But do you ever actually go and travel there? Or do you actually ever go and do that thing that you say that you want to do? And so realize that maybe some of the anxiety is pulled by having so much words, because it's so easy to say words. It's so easy to just spill out words and promise and you know, say you want to do it, because it's it's that step that brings us closer to manifesting, right? That idea spark, like that, just saying it, like, oh yeah, like saying it gets you excited, but then there's like more to it than that. And some of us are too lazy or don't have the means to do the next steps. A portion of the collective is lazy. A portion of the collective don't have the means to travel or don't have the means to do certain things. But that ultimately, those are still kind of excuses, because if you have the idea, if you want it enough, you'll do at least something about it. Anything or one thing, whatever. Like there if it's a idea that resonates enough, it will apply enough as well. So realize that too, that sometimes on days where we feel lazy, it could just be your answer right there, that you don't really want to do it. What would you rather be doing then? Can you make an income off of that? Can you be creative about how to make that a source of income? Like, we are humans, we're meant to create. We're part of the universe. You know, we're meant to create and transmute, and, you know, like, we're just meant to be a part of all these cycles. And so flourish. The lotus flower fairy tells you to learn from experience and shed your inner light on any unclear areas of your life or those of others. So like I was saying, you can like be open and connect, or someone will be open, and then you can like connect them in a way that they need. Sometimes you don't know that a certain service or person or business or situation exists until someone tells you about it, or until someone connects you there, shows you, you know, shows you the restaurants, shows you the favorite place to hike, shows you like whatever it is, shine your light. You know, you have all sorts of, like, you are your own resource, and then you can be a resource for others, and others can be a resource for you. Experiences, yeah. And then journey. It's time to prepare for a journey. It may be impromptu or planned. Either way, make sure you're ready when the time comes. Pack your passport now. So that's a message. Maybe not for everybody, but I think for most of us in the collective, that some journey, adventure is going to be coming through. Either just by falling into our laps, you know, you might win a giveaway. You might be asked to go with your friend or family on a trip. But, you know, because that's like where the plan comes in. But if it's impromptu, it could just be you spur of the moment decide right now or after this reading or tomorrow or this weekend or in the middle of the week or next month that you want to go somewhere, you know, and you just go. And you could be get in the car and go. It could be spontaneously buying a ticket tomorrow, today, or for tomorrow or for today. It could be spontaneously, you know, like it's spontaneous because you're buying it today or tomorrow, but it's not until another month or a few months from now. It's this whole journey of, it's not even just like also just physically traveling anywhere. This journey is with yourself, with inspiration and flourishing an idea. So not, it doesn't have to be necessarily travel or planning to travel. It's nourishing an idea and going with it. So if you have an idea to travel, that's nourishing the idea and actually going to travel. But if you want to do a hobby and starting a journey with a hobby and seeing where that takes you, how far it takes you, let that stuff flourish. Do the research. Open up yourself to others that are also in the community. Maybe look for people who are also starting with you and also who are, you know, they are longer, further down in the journey. They're mentors, people that you can ask, because you know, like, you know that their advice would be solid because they have more experience than you or similar experience to you. Like, find these things for yourself. Stargazing, when you gaze at the stars, you give yourself fairy focus. Your intuition will flow more freely and reveal what you need to know about your situation. So some of us need this time and space to look into ourselves. When I think of stargazing, I think of looking into a light, a faraway light, and it's like the light seems or feels so far away, but it's like looking into ourselves, because I hear that photo, or I like am seeing, reading that post is like we are the universe experiencing itself, and it's like, you know, from multiple viewpoints, like we are all connected, we are all, you know, kind of one. And it's like when you stare out into the stars, you get intuitive downloads because you're looking into light. Like you're looking, it's almost like you're looking into your own light, but it's this illusion, or like it's projected or casted into like our night sky. Like, I guess metaphorically, there's like a tangent there, but just know that if you give yourself that time and space to self-reflect and look into your own inner light and your own inner guidance, you'll get an answer of like where to next, or what to next, like what ideas to nourish and flourish and plant, what seeds to plant. Because this card really gives me like gardener vibes, and it's like planting seeds and having that stuff harvest. And some of us have anxiety because we've planted seeds and are still waiting for our things to harvest. We've done a lot of work, self-work. We've done a lot of like, I'm going to present myself at this opportunity and present myself at this opportunity and here and here and here and here. And then you're like, well, I've done all this work. How come I haven't seen like the payback yet, or that? And some of it is because you need to document it, because it's hard to see it unless you document it. But some of us, it's like because you haven't rested and you haven't just let the manifestations have space to come in, because you've been like looking at it for too long. And the thing with magic is like you can't see magic. So you shouldn't be looking at it. You know, if you want magic to happen, you can't be looking at it. Put your attention on something else. And then you'll see the magic happen. And like I think that's like ironic to say it like that, but like you'll see it but you won't see it. Like the result will appear, but the actual process, some things are just better off hidden. And I think that's with the moon card. I think some of us have like an intentional withholding of, I want to make this next step in my career or make this next step with this person. Like you're withholding that because of like a timing thing. It could be this situation with the Queen of Wands is interesting. When I was saying like there's a third party energy and it's being hidden for a reason, really find out, is it for good reason or bad reason. um for most in the collective, I want to say it's for good reason. You know, it's protective manners, but there's other things that's like, well, is it protecting like a good thing or a bad thing? Like a, you know, a bad action or a good action? Like what's going on here? But you'll definitely get the clarity if in the time space that you provide yourself to just be like, all right, this is a lot to think about right now, like all at once. And be like, and like your answer could be, give me a few days to answer. Or it could just be, an answer of saying, I just don't know. This whole clarity situation is going to be unique for everyone, and how you receive that and how you approach your person or situations is going to be a formula you'll see in the stargazing moment, in this like meditative state, in a peaceful state where, you know, no one can sway your emotions, no one can sway your thoughts. And you can really reveal yourself, you know, reveal to yourself what's going on, what's missing, you know, like based off of what you have, the information that you have, the people that are involved. And figure out how to fill those spaces in for yourself in this journey. How can I fulfill myself? Fulfill the space, you know, the empty spaces that you have with yourself. Maybe, you know, we need more space for hobbies, or we need more space for vacation. We need more space for like certain things. And filling that space. Some of us say these things all the time and don't grant these things for ourselves. Like how I was saying earlier about, you know, it's easy to say this or that, this or that, but then when you don't, it kind of creates that hole. Consider it to be a black hole, you know, and it could suck up as little or as much as it is, how much of a hole it is. So maybe fill in those spaces, recognize certain things within yourself. How much of this is you? How much have I spoken about your tendencies? And you're like, how much have you intuitively picked up on a placement where it applies? Like where I'm saying like a third party energy, I'm sure you immediately thought of something. And that's your intuition working with this, also validating you, you know? So we have bring Emerald Dragon. It brings in healing and cosmic abundance. Knowing where you need to heal, where you need more. Good fortune is coming. Let your thoughts support your divine perfection. Align with your fifth dimensional blueprint. White Gold Dragon from Lyria connects you to the highest Christ light. Develop your causal chakra. Bathe in ninth dimensional Christ light. So your sacral chakra, heart chakra, I'm seeing, and also solar plexus, base chakra. I think some of us really need a chakra rebalance, maybe a recalibration, like resetting of like energetically balancing how your chakras are behaving. It could really affect your decision making, um, and how you apply yourself. So chakra crystal healing could apply for you. And I do have that service if you'd like to personally book with me for card readings or also crystal healing. That's here too. But I'm just mentioning that because we have the causal chakra mentioned here on the white gold dragon, and we have the green dragon. So lots of green and green chakra. If your green chakra is, if your heart chakra is affected, can you imagine like how like wreckful or reckless we are when we have a broken heart, you know? And so if you realize that you're operating from imbalance, a broken heart is an imbalanced heart chakra space, you know, then tune in to services that help fix that. Green Dragon helps you tune into the secrets of nature, because crystal healing is nature. It's using stone magic. It's using the elements of earth, our Mother Earth, what has been created by Mother Earth, to help heal us. Receive answers and guidance from nature aligned with your divine essence. You can receive information in a meditation, in a chakra balance meditation. I receive them all the time. I know what it's like. And that's with that stargazing in alignment with that energy. It's like you can provide yourself the time and space like this, or you can sign up for a service that is guided, that will help you bring yourself there. We have Mercury 15, Air 25, and Sagittarius 9. And it's like, I'm a Sagittarius, but you may be dealing with a Sagittarius, or they have Sagittarius in their chart, or you have Sagittarius in your chart. You know, sun, moon, rising, Venus, or any of the planets, Mercury, air, like really this could apply to you. But then also I think the energy is really high and stimulating because air, here we have the element air, and Sagittarius is a fire element zodiac sign. And so with the air definitely stimulates fire. It you know, flares it up and stuff. You know, wind is probably the worst thing for forest fire and things. And so this is sort of like this energy where there's passion here. And I see why, you know, you have such high anxiety, because like you just feel so passionately. You feel, it's like to the soul level, you feel. I have these cards: selenite, past life, lady's mantle, yellow, pass over loved ones, and fire opal. Spiritual activation, stimulation, gifts, review, mother, healing, alchemy, flexibility, adaptability, personal power, comfort, forgiveness, support, sensuality, confidence. So there's this unique, now I'm picking up on this unique element of clearing the past, or understanding the past, understanding your gifts, or understanding where you've been in a healing way, in a healing perspective. Because some of us have avoided our past, have avoided certain situations. And I think that's also a block, that missing piece in the future, that like your block is like, you can't get to the future. You have that missing piece, which is the future, because the past holds you back. And so it's this like element in the reading where you need to address things you haven't addressed yet before you can even address current things, right? We have to go in order by like by that, like that's right by the timeline of things, or like right by the timeline of you, right? Some of us have deadlines that are current. Of course you still have to meet the current deadlines, but some things have higher priority because they've been neglected for so much longer. And it's like you have to activate that, you know, addressing, you know, where has my soul been in previous lives. Some of us need to do maybe a past life, like a past life meditation, where you return, you know, in a meditation to another timeline, or at least understanding that, journaling it, dreams, or even healing. It could be just in your current lifetime something happened that was so traumatic that is stopping you in the present moment. And you need to meditate or put yourself back there and kind of heal. Heal that person that was you. Hold yourself that was you. Hold the baby you and be the mother energy that you needed in that time, the nurturing, healing energy that you needed at that time, and be adaptable and just know that yes, in that time maybe you were alone back then, but that energy that saved you was yourself back then. That the time is flexible and not one single construct or singular timeline, that you can always go backward or forward in time in your mind space, and that you probably got an intuitive download back then about what your life would be like now, and you had anxiety, but the anxiety also, take this, is maybe either a past over loved one or going to the past to provide you comfort, forgiveness, or support in order to get yourself there. Some of us feel deja vu, that like feeling, and it's that validation from your higher self or your future self going back in time to validate that a decision or something is right in that moment. Sensuality, confidence, and so that you can be confident to move forward. It could be like, just, it's hard to explain, but if you have an experience like this, like just going back in time for yourself, like if you ever in your lonely times go like, man, like I need this thing, maybe you did give yourself what you needed, and you didn't know it was you until you stand in your current self or future self, meditating backwards to save yourself. I've done this before. Comfort, forgiveness, providing this for yourself, but also it could be a spirit ally trying to do this for you. Some of us have felt this recently with, friends and loved ones passing, feeling them around, feeling the shifts, or missing these people as these shifts are happening. Once you dedicate yourself to deepening your awareness, relationships improve, so you can have a really amazing relationship with spirit or source, or even your real life connections. Once you realize the central role you play in creating your life, you will embrace every day as a new world. Renewal is effortless and spontaneous. Detach yourself from negative influences. Like attracts like. Love awakens the soul. We must be conscious and responsible for our beliefs and behaviors if we are ever to be free. We must reclaim our agenda with a forceful grip. Without self-mastery, we are slaves to fear, impulse, and conformity. With self-mastery, joy, greatness, and transcendence are ours. Wisdom is knowing who to be and what to do in a given situation. Virtue is acting on that wisdom. So I was heavily saying this about your words and manifesting and having that match, and like having the holes and the black holes. I think that definitely solidifies and validates the messages I was saying earlier on that. And then just self-mastery and the importance of just self-recognition, right? Recognition, addressing, healing. I was saying that earlier in the reading, and we have it again with the self-mastery. We are slaves to fear, impulse, conformity, when we're afraid of things. We just go when things feel safe, when other people are doing it. But it's like, why does it have to be when other people are doing it for you to do it? If you understand yourself very well, you would do it anyway just because you like it. It doesn't matter what other people think or feel, or so just being mindful of self-mastery is like the true heart of getting to joy and greatness and transcendence. Is like, you can transcend bad, like other people giving you bad energy, if you just understand that you love the thing and that you would do it anyway. Like being at that point in your life, with your choices, that, you chose that because you understand very well the situation for yourself. Reclaiming your agenda, conscious and responsible for beliefs and behaviors, just being very solid. I decide this for myself because it's for me. You can't tell me different. That person can't tell me different. And if a new situation makes me feel different, or like shows me something, I'm allowed to change my mind, but someone else isn't allowed to change your mind. That's the thing. It's like with self-mastery, like conformity, you're not just matching what someone else wants or says. You are understanding you exactly, like you're understanding as much as you can about the situation. And some of us, with the anxiety, you don't understand enough about yourself, or don't understand enough about the situation, or don't understand enough about the person that you're worried about. You need to self-master. Master the course of learning the other person. Master the course of learning who you are. Master the course of learning the situation of you plus the person together, or you plus the situation together. Master the course of I'm choosing this, and what does that mean? Applications when it comes to anxiety. Your anxiety shows you something is not in alignment. For what and why and how and XYZ, that's up to you to figure out. But you have to claim your agenda, your calendar, your time, your energy, your life, your choices, your everything. And someone may have had expectations that you'll show up, and that's fine and all, but you still have choices. They still have choices. Everyone's got choices. So do responsibly, accordingly, healthily, happily. But that is today's reading. I hope my collective does right by themselves and for the good of all. And I'm thankful to share our time and space together in these readings. I look forward to another video this week and more connecting over Instagram and other social media. This was Magic with Melly with some tarot and oracle cards for you. And thank you so much. Lots and lots and lots of love and light. Goodbye for now. Goodbye.